All right, let's see what else she said.
Okay, what did she say? Oh, wait, I see some emojis over there.
She said dirty dirt.
What? What does that mean?
And then shh.
What did you send her? What is that? That's a picture. What is it?
Oh, that was a picture of her.
Oh, okay.
At the gym.
That's nice. That's nice.
I don't know what to say now. Like, I don't really...
Just don't respond and leave her hanging.
Okay.
We'll figure out a response later.
Okay.
I like your olive theory.
I think I like your new French roll.
I think I like your nose.
I think I'm in love with you.
What? What? You love me?
I can't believe I said that. Why did I say that? Who says that?
You love me?
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Rap.
And I'm Tam.
And welcome to our very first episode of
The Blah Blah Marry Me podcast. We're so glad you're here.
I know. Me and you have been talking about doing this for the longest time.
We have been.
And finally, we're doing it.
I know.
Finally.
It's so exciting. Like, we're so glad that everybody's here with us and glad that we're finally able to share all this with everybody. So all two of you right now, probably. Hopefully there'll be more. But, I mean, we'll see. This is our first episode, So we are so excited. We are two friends that... Well, how long ago did we meet?
About 5 years ago, I think.
About 5 years ago, it was New Year's Eve. One of our mutual friends, Reina, shout out, introduced us. We were doing a whole New Year's Eve thing you weren't living here. We weren't even living in the same place.
No,
but
I think I was living in Dallas.
something like that. We were living in Austin at the time.
Yeah.
And so he came down for New Year's Eve. And yeah, I guess we just all been friends since then. And
2014. It feels like a long ass time ago.
It does feel like a long time
But it's only
ago.
like 5 years ago.
5 years, yeah.
So much shit has happened since then.
It's crazy. But anyway, you and I have a lot in common, I feel like. And that's we've became friends through that. Just through where we're at in life, I guess.
Oh, yeah. So, my name is Rap. I am from San Antonio. I was born and raised in the Valley, and then I moved up here a few years ago. And I am 33 years old, I think. I don't remember anymore. You know, once you pass like 30, you're just like, it's 30. All downhill. Like,
I'm going to bet you're about 33 right now. That sounds about right.
Probably. I don't know. I got to bust out the calculator and shit. What about you?
Hi. So my name is Tam. I'm 32. I know that one for sure. And I live in Houston, Texas. And so just kind of a little bit about me. I lived in Austin for a lot of years. And then I moved back to Houston. And let's see, what do I do for a living? I work in the nonprofit world.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What do you do, Rap?
I just acted like I didn't know what you were doing. I work for a audiovisual company.
Mm-hmm.
We mainly do corporate events at convention centers, resort hotels, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been at my current job for the last 5 years, probably.
So I met you as Tammy,
Mm-hmm.
and your name was something else too.
So I met you as Andy.
Yeah.
Because that's how Reina knew me growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Because my middle name is Andres.
Mm-hmm.
And growing up, I was called Andy.
Yeah.
And so as soon as I was like 20, I moved to Florida for school.
Mm-hmm.
And then from then on, I was like, you know what? I don't want to be Andy anymore. I want to be Raul.
Which is your first name.
Which is my first name.
Mm-hmm.
And so from then on, I've been called Raul. So until I moved back to the Valley, and then people start, calling me Andy again. Then I'm, it's just been a whole big old thing.
You've been a lot of different things.
yeah. And then my, the initial of my last name starts with a P, and so my initials spell out Rap. And so sometimes, like, I have had some friends that just make it easy on me and just call me Rap.
Mm-hmm. And so my name, same thing. Whenever you met me, up until probably late college, I was Tammy. Like my given name is Tamara.
I met you as Tammy. Yep.
Yeah, my given name is Tamara, but proved to be a little difficult for people to say sometimes. So I just went with Tammy for a long while. And then after, I kind of was like you. After college, I was like, you know what? My name is Tamara.
I'm an adult now.
Yeah, I'm an adult. I'm going to embrace my given name.
Exactly.
And so I've been Tamara for a while now. And so it's actually kind of weird to hear people call me Tammy, which I'm sure the same for you. It's weird to have people call you Andy. So for purposes of this, I was just like, well, we're going to be Rap and Tam. Like, that's our...
and it kind of rolls off the tongue anyway, too. Like
hyphenated short names, whatever you want to call them. So, but yeah, so he's Rap and I'm Tam, and we're so glad that you're here. So kind of interesting that... So you and I met, and then we just kind of kept in touch, like, through the years, I guess. Like, through you, me, and Raina were all friends, and then you came to Houston, when? Maybe, like...
Yeah, I would...
Last year? 2 years ago, New Year's? Something like that?
Yes.
You came...
Yeah, for about 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm. And
I went over there with some other friends to Houston.
Yeah.
Celebrate New Year's, and then...
You came out with my friends, and we all went out. And then after that, I think...
was crazy.
Yeah, moving on. We just... like, stayed friends after that, I think, and we just realized that we had, like, a lot in common just because of where we were at in our lives, in terms of us both being single, still not married, still don't have kids, still haven't settled down, and me and Rap are not, like, together. We're friends, and so I think that's so we find a good friendship in that. Like, I think that as we've gotten to know each other, like, I've come to really appreciate and value, like, as a friend, and the perspective that you bring to my life, and
vice versa.
And so but like I said, we're just through talking realized that there is a lot of people like us, like, which didn't used to be the norm, right? Like, people used to, like, get married and, like, have babies and do all this stuff, like, right outside of school.
Exactly. As soon as I have, like, a couple friends that I went to high school with, they got married right after high school. And they're still married, though. That's what trips me out the most.
Yeah, like, same. There's some girls that I went to high school with that married, like, high school sweethearts, and they're still married and have kids. And that's fine. Like, that works for some people, right?
Yeah.
But that's not, like, the norm anymore. People, like, our age are waiting longer to, like, get married and settle down and make that a priority because, like, at least for me, have been super focused on, like, getting a career going and being established. And, you know, we also have a lot of debt. Like, we are the generation. I don't know about you. My parents were very much like, I didn't go to college and lots of doors were closed for me. So you have to go to college and you have to go to, 4-year university. But along with that comes a lot of debt. So focused on paying that off and saving money and trying to buy a house. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that I think people in our generation are focused on that not necessarily has been relationships and dating and all of that stuff.
No, that's for the most part, it's on the back burner. I mean, and then nowadays, I mean, you have apps like Tinder and Bumble and all that shit that just hookups. I mean, that's all you really need for now, just to at least maintain to, like, all the next time you're feeling lonely.
Yeah, it's like then that has created, like you said, a whole nother reality of, like, a hookup culture. And so it's just interesting dating these days. Meeting
it's not
people.
even dating anymore. It's like hanging out.
Oh my gosh, hanging out. We'll talk about that in another. There's so many different terminologies for relationships these days, but it's just a different time now. And I think that that's what it is that in terms of dating and all of that, is that we're in between. Mm-hmm. Wanting, like, the old school, I see you from across the room and I just thought you were so beautiful or so cute and I just had to come up to you and say hi. And get your number, let's date, doing all that stuff, where now we are in an age of technology kind of being part of that, where there's online dating and apps and all kinds of stuff that you can do. So it's just a weird in between because I think it's just different. And I think that like, just us talking to each other have realized we're not the only people. So we're like, well, let's talk about this. We can't be the only ones that are
No, of
feeling
course
like
not.
this, that this is changed, It's just, it's different now. And, you have a lot of other things coming into the mix now too. Like, being the ages that we are, that you're probably, chances of you dating or marrying somebody that has a kid already, is a very big possibility. Chances of divorce, there's lots of other things that come into the mix now. And so, I mean, there's all kinds of different scenarios, but I think what's good, we're going to talk about all of those on this podcast. Like, and we're going to talk about people because, we can only talk about ourselves and our situation, which is us.
And for the most part, my life is kind of boring because it's just mostly about work, but I got a lot of friends and they have a lot of drama that comes along with them. So, got a lot of shit to
and
talk
we're going
about.
to talk about all the different perspectives, everything. Yeah, like we'll bring on people, people who are getting divorced. We can bring on a traditional couple. People now are not, even getting married, but they're making commitments to each other and just like living together. And that's fine too. But there's all different kinds of ways you can be with people now. And I think that that's what I'm excited for us to talk about, and for us to talk about with other people who are going through these situations, because it is going to bring a lot of perspective. So I'm pumped. I'm so excited for it.
Yeah, me too. And like I said, we've been talking about this for, a couple months after that New Year's. Actually, it was kind of inspired in a weird way, right? According to
Our
you.
podcast. Oh, according to me, I think according to you too. It kind of came about in a funny way. Yeah.
It was a funny way. So I shop online for my groceries, and I pick them up at H-E-B. So the first time I ever did it, I had this one girl drop off my groceries, and she was very pretty. So I had her again the second time that I went, and finally we got to like conversing quite a bit. And along with being pretty and having like a gorgeous smile, she actually had like a bubbly, like friendly personality, which is kind of like drew me into, like attracted me to her quite a bit. And then so after like getting to not know each other really, but like telling me, like, asking me how my day was, telling me about her day was, she'll tell me about like, hey, so we don't have like this and this product, so we substituted for this product. So while she's telling me that, in my mind I'm thinking, I'm not, just you're perfect, marry me, like I'm just, and now so I text Tam, I like, yeah, Tam, so she was telling me this, but in my mind I'm just like, I'm not even paying attention, like blah blah blah, just just marry me already, we're perfect for each other.
Yep. Definitely did that. So like I remember like totally teasing you about it too, being like,
Yeah,
did
you
you even
did.
talk to her? Like, did you
did.
even talk to her? Are you just
I did.
being a stalker and creeper and like admiring her from afar?
No.
And so you were like, yeah, we did. We small talked. I small talked the shit out of her. And I was like, sure he did. Sure he did. And so
I did. I'm the small talk king.
yeah, I would agree with you there. But anyway, I was
see?
totally teasing with you over it. And I said, you know what? I said, we should do a podcast about that. And you were like, what are you even talking about? And I just remember being like, look, like exactly what you said. Like you saw a girl, talked to her, like the second you thought that there was any kind of potential with her, you were ready to like wife her. You were like ready to settle down. And
you know what? And at that moment, or when you were like telling me this, like you're making me like visualize, I felt like I was Ted. Like Ted from How I Met Your Mother.
Yes, love
like,
How I Met Your Mother.
I felt like, yeah, no shit.
You were total Ted.
I felt like I was Ted because every single time like he met some chick, he's already thinking about like that porch fantasy that him and
the porch test. No, Lily has the porch test. But
Yeah.
yes, you were imagining your future, and you totally married her in your head. Do not lie, like it totally
did.
happened.
No,
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, but look, like exactly what that happened. Like the second you had any kind of connection with her, you were totally ready to get married. And I think that that's what happens when you get to our age, is that the second we meet anybody, we're like ready, like, okay, let's go. Because I think like in our 30s, like you're like the way that you approach your life, and not just like dating and but like your job and everything, is that you're very intentional with what you're doing. And so
make calculated moves.
yeah, and
It's
so
not just like fuck it.
Yeah, so you are very so I think that we're just very intentional. Like intentional about who we date, intentional about where we work, intentional it's just a lot of things that we do on purpose and not by accident. So
Yeah.
but I think that that's like where you were we talk about the dating pool, our age being really small, like small in terms of thinking like all the good ones are gone, quote unquote. They're already taken. And so when you find somebody like that, you're just like ready to jump into it and call it a day.
Exactly. And that's why I was thinking, oh, you know what? I don't care if I'm not ready. I'm going to do this.
Yeah. So
But then, like, after talking about it with you for a while, I'm like, yeah, that's stupid.
yeah, but it also sprang this idea of like this podcast
did.
and where it came from. And I think that I think it's going to be interesting for people to hear. So
Yeah, definitely.
like I said, I'm super excited about it and sharing with everybody. So
Yeah. I'm excited about it too. I feel like we're finally talking about a subject that no one has talked about really, but everybody knows, and that's being 30, living in your 30s. How things have changed, relationships have changed, friendships, careers, family, all that kind of shit. I just feel like it's real interesting to talk about, and I feel like there's a lot of shit to talk about, and I'm really gonna enjoy talking about this podcast with everybody.
I think it's interesting too because like I said, we're not together. We're just a guy and a girlfriend, and I think that brings up an interesting topic because people most often will say like guys and girls cannot be friends, right? And so my opinion is that like they can, because like we are like we're friends.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah.
To be honest, most of my friends are girlfriends.
Yeah, I just think that guys, it's not a hard, I don't know. I guess just because of like depending on what your intentions are. But like also, I have friends who tease me about you.
Oh, really?
Because they think that there's like something between us. Because they are very much like you guys and girls can't be friends, and I'm like, no, like we're not. And they often are like, y'all friend zoned each other, like y'all are both good people and y'all just friend zoned each other and you're not even gonna like.
I mean, like, I don't really see it as a bad thing, really. I mean, I know some guys would rather not have to like deal with chicks as friends, for whatever personal reasons.
Yeah.
But like I said, I don't see it as a bad thing because you're able to offer us a different perspective, different points of views, and then I mean, plus you guys make some awesome wingmen sometimes,
Well, and like I said, I appreciate like the perspective that you bring, to me and to my like the friendship. And I think that, I think that if we were to try something and it didn't work out, I think that I would be really sad if you were not part of my life anymore. Because I often refer to you as Barney, right? Barney is like one of our characters from How I Met Your Mother. And I've often said that I'm like Robin, that I share a lot of characteristics with Robin. If you've seen the show, spoiler alert, Barney and Robin get married, but they don't work out. Like they were like the best of friends and they get married and it just doesn't work out for them. And so, I think I would be really sad that if we weren't friends anymore. And I also, would hope that if I, got married or whatever, that my significant other wouldn't be threatened by you or our relationship because we're friends,
Yeah,
So-
but I mean, you know how that goes a lot of the times. I mean,
How does it go?
What do you mean, how's it go? Like, a lot of my chick friends' boyfriends, they were always, for the most part, kind of either they didn't like me, they were threatened by me, they were jealous of me. A lot of, like, just... Okay, so going back to when I met Raina's boyfriend, right? For New Year's. He's a cool dude. He's a cool dude. After the night went on, we all had a lot of drinks. And he comes up to me, he was like, bro, just tell me. You want to fuck her, right?
What? No.
Yeah, I didn't tell you this story.
I don't think
I
so.
told you this story.
Are you sure?
I told Raina.
Oh my
And so anyway,
gosh.
so like, yeah, so like he pulled me aside, and he was like, "Bro,
What?
just be straight up, man. You want to fuck her, right?" I'm like, "What? Like, nah, man. Like, you're fucking tripping. Like, bro,
Yeah.
just don't lie to me, man. Just."
Oh my
I'm like,
gosh.
"Nah, dude, you're fucking tripping." And then so
Well,
like,
because the same thing. You and
oh,
Raina were friends. Like,
yeah, exactly. And she was the one that invited me to the to that little shindig or whatever. And then it wasn't until like months later where like I brought it back up to Raina, and she told her boyfriend about it. And he was like, "Yeah, I don't remember any of that. I don't remember any of that." And then Raina was
Of
like, "Oh yeah, don't
course.
worry. He gets like that when he's drunk sometimes."
oh man, because he was like
But,
threatened by you. That's
I don't,
crazy.
shit, I don't
Which
know.
I mean, you
I mean,
know,
we're cool now. Like we just hung out like
Yeah.
a couple of weekends ago.
yeah,
Just the three
yeah.
of us. I mean, we're all.
Or probably too because
yeah,
he's like
like,
thinking something happened between y'all or something. I don't know. That's just wow. That's interesting.
I could
Yeah,
have sworn I told you that.
I don't know. Maybe you did.
But
Maybe you didn't. Who
I
knows?
don't know.
Yeah.
That was a
Well,
long
like,
time ago.
and yeah,
All right, so going back to like, can guys and girls be friends? So like, I think it depends on the person if they can be friends with the opposite sex. I mean, because most of the time, like you were saying, I have points of view that you can't see, and then you have points of view that I don't see.
Yeah.
And especially like, I don't know. It just depends on the person, you know.
yeah. It definitely depends on the person and the relationship because I also think that, like, it also depends when you were friends. Like, I think that if I met somebody and they had a girlfriend that they had just known for a long time, that would be less threatening for me than if they were to like make brand new friends with a girl while we're in
Yeah.
a relationship. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like that would be like for me a more threatening thing because I'd be like, what do they
Yeah.
want?
Yeah.
Like, what is their intention?
Yeah.
Like, because I think that even if you do trust your partner, like sometimes you don't trust the other person. And I think that that's where people sometimes can get, you know, the notion that guys and girls can't be cannot be friends because of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But it definitely depends on the people, like people's personalities and their perception of things. It doesn't work for everybody, like not at all.
No.
You know,
Mm-mm.
but you know, it works for us. At least I think it works for us.
Yeah.
What do you think? So,
No, it works for us. It works for us.
yeah, I don't know. I would hope that like if I was to meet somebody that they would like want to get to know you and like understand our relationship and understand that you are an important person in my life because you know as we have gotten to know each other have really come to like value you as a friend. And so I would hope that they would understand that you are
Yeah.
like a valuable friend for me and they would want to get to like know you, you know, because then I would hope like we could all be friends, you know, hang out together and all of that. And then like vice versa, like if you were to get with somebody that they would
Yeah, like-
understand, you know,
Yeah,
not just me, because
totally.
you have other girlfriends, you know, not just me, but that like that we have a good relationship because I think it would be like sad if she didn't understand that about us and then y'all become something serious and then she like forces you to choose and obviously you know I'm not going to stand in anybody's way.
No, and then plus, like, I wouldn't want to be if she gives me an ultimatum, that's it. Like, I can't.
You just don't
I'm
do good
gonna
with
choose.
ultimatums.
No, I'm just gonna choose. I would choose you guys over her. It's just that doesn't go well with me.
Yeah, but then like, you know, I would still want her to like for us to get along, I guess, because like if let's you say you get married and then like I don't get invited to the wedding. Like that would be like, oh man. Like I guess this is just what it's gonna be, you know, like he's just gonna be married with her now. And like I said, I would never want to be in anybody's way. But like so I would understand like if she was like threatened or whatever, but I would hope that she would understand that I am not a threat, like that I am not like a person that is just gonna like try and swoop in after all these freaking years that I've known you and like try and like break you up. That's not gonna happen. So yeah. So yeah, it doesn't work for everybody, but
like I was raised by like, you know, I always had my dad around, I had my grandpas and all that stuff, but really I was raised by women, like my mom, my aunt, and my two grandmas. And so like I value like a woman's worth. And that's why I like.
And like our opinion. And you've
Yeah.
always struck me like as being a very gentlemanly person.
I try to.
Yeah, well, and then you are. But I think that speaks a lot, too, that you were raised by women. And so you value, like, women in general and, like, what their worth is and all of that stuff. So, yeah, it's just, I feel like it is. But then you get into the situations, too, where sometimes when you're in a relationship, like your significant other is not okay with you having a male counterpart or a female counterpart. And honestly, like, I think, like, me and you have been friends for a while. It's not like you became my friend during a relationship and you're like a new person, but you've been around for a while. So, but if I was with like a guy who had a girlfriend that, you know, all of a sudden just popped up out of nowhere when we started dating.
Tricky. Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
not tricky, but like shady.
That's and it can be. And so I think that's where, you know, some lines, you know, it's just you don't know what people's intentions are sometimes. And I think that's where people feel insecure about it, is that not sure what your intentions are, or, you know, my intentions are being your friend, but
and I've had girls tell me that, like, man, I'm so glad I'm just your friend because I can never date you. You have too many girlfriends.
Yeah.
You have too many close girlfriends. And it's true. You know, I have you, Raina, and I have a couple close girlfriends back at home. And then, I don't know.
Well, and it's easy for you. Like, you, I don't know, you know how to relate and talk to us. I don't want to say, I'm saying me. Like, you know.
Yeah. And then, like my other guy friends, they just, like, I don't know, they just rather not deal with all the crap, like all the, I'm gonna get my hair done, I'm gonna get my toes done, like, oh, what color do you think my nails should be? Like, I hear that, like, almost on a daily basis with my chick friends, like, you know.
But you also roll with it too, because you're like,
I do,
and you crack jokes every once in a while.
I do, like,
so I don't know, but guys are like guy friends are definitely a lot different than girlfriends, because guys, what I can appreciate about is that very like cut and dry, like very black and white. There's not a lot of gray. Like, they leaving the chisme like somewhere else. Well, I mean, I lie. Some guys do like to chisme, so it's not anything different. But you always know where you stand with the guy, I feel like. Like, you know.
For the most part.
Like, I mean, there's not like a lot to read in between the lines. And so for that, like, guy friends sometimes are, for me, drama free. I don't know. I think that people sometimes can have reason to be like intimidated by a close relationship like this, but like at least in the case of me and you, like I don't feel like that's what that is at all. Like, in fact, I would like want you, and like if I ever dated somebody, for y'all to be friends, because you're an important person for me. And I think that whoever I date or what my long-term mate would understand that you are an important person to me, and would not feel threatened by you and want to get to know you, so that we could all cohesively get along and it be not weird or a problem or whatever, you know, because like I said, I hope that you're one of my friends long term. And so I would hope that like as important things happen in my life, that you would still be involved with me, and same, vice versa. That like whoever you end up with is not going to be like, oh my gosh, that girl, and then y'all get married and I like don't get invited. Like, you know what I mean? So I would really hope that's not like an issue. But anyway, it works for us. So, I mean, I understand it doesn't work for everybody. And so I would hope that that's what we bring to this, is that we bring perspective. Like, you bring in a guy perspective, I bring in girl perspective, and us just kind of where we're at, and then like meeting in the middle, I guess. But yeah, definitely have a lot of people that tease me about you. Like, even my mom. Like, I'm not joking. Even my mom has asked me about you, and she's like, why are you talking to him a lot? Like, what's going on there? Like, why did, you know, all this stuff. And I was like, Mom, we're just friends. Like, there's nothing there. I promise you. Like, if there was something, I would definitely have told you, but there's not. Like, we are really just friends. Like, and that's it. Like, we like hanging out together. We get along. Like, that's about it. So... No, I was going to say, like, to be honest, like, you and I have, like, kissed before, but it's been usually, it was, like, one New Year's, and it was, like, the ball dropped or something, and, like, everybody around us was kissing. And we were already drunk.
I remember that. That was...
We were already drunk, and we just were like... looked around and looked at each other. We're like, okay.
Okay.
But like that's
I remember
literally all it was. I mean, it wasn't for like
Yeah.
any like romantical feelings. It was like, man, we're being left out.
Holy shit! I remember that. That was a day. That was a New Year's where I just decided
To be
like,
drunk all
drink
day. Yes,
right?
you did.
I
You woke up and were like, I'm
That-
just gonna
'cause
be drunk
That
all
was
day.
my. I came up with this
You drank
idea,
a whole
like, you know
bottle
what?
of Tito's.
It was a whole bunch of everything.
Well,
I
drank-
call it an alcohol cleanse.
Drank
As
my
stupid
bottle of
as that
Tito's
sounds.
that I had. So I mean,
Well, shit. I just remember waking up, and the first drink I had wasn't even water. It was what, a Heineken or a Dos Equis or something like
no,
that.
you pulled out the
And that
handle
just,
of
like-
Tito's and we're like, I'm going to be drunk
it
all
was
day.
not Tito's. I
Yes,
hate
it
Tito's.
was. It was Tito's. I swear to you, because that is all
That's
I ever
fucking
had in my
disgusting.
apartment was Tito's vodka.
Tito's is like the worst fucking
Oh
vodka
my gosh,
ever.
stop it. We need to get sponsored by them.
Oh yeah, it's not the worst fucking. It's not so bad. It's pretty good after a while. Oops, my bad.
No, it was Tito's. I had a handle
Oh.
of Tito's in my apartment and you like took it and were like, I'm just going to be drunk all day. And I was like, okay, so that's what's happening today. And I think we went to Specs
And I was drunk
all day.
All
yeah,
day.
all day.
Yeah. Yeah. The next day was
Terrible.
Pretty
yeah.
fucked up.
Like, it's
It was.
terrible.
It was. The fuck was
Oh,
I
man.
thinking? I don't recommend that alcohol cleansing. No, I do
it's a
not
terrible
recommend
idea.
that. Please.
I don't know
Yeah,
why you made
yeah,
that
please-
up, but
please
it's
don't
a
do that.
terrible idea.
Well,
So those are our New Year's. I feel
don't
like
even
New Year's
know.
have been our thing since I've known you, to be honest, too, because I feel like every New Year's I've spent with you since that first time I met you. About every New Year's.
almost,
yeah.
right?
There's like
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
1 year. One.
Well, 1 year I went to. I think 1 year I just didn't do anything. I
But
think I
it
just wanted
always
to, like, be
included
chill.
like us going to a club and getting bottle service. That's like what our New Year's have been since I've met you.
Yeah, yeah, basically. Yep,
Man.
yep.
Good
Good
times.
times, good times. But we're fucking 30
Yeah, I
now.
can't do that anymore, I don't think. Now we do responsible
No,
things like drink at home.
There you go, just like we did last year.
Drink at home.
And I finished like half of that Knob Creek,
And then you
I
went to
was
sleep.
out
And I put
before-
you to sleep in the guest room.
I was out
Put
before
a blanket
midnight.
on
That's
you.
fucked up.
Closed the door. Turned off the lights.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
fucked up.
man. Funny story.
So
But yeah, it's definitely different, especially like for us. So me and Andy are both Hispanic. Oh, I called you Andy. Sorry.
yeah, it's all right.
Pause, reset. Okay. So me and Rap, we're both Hispanic. And being Hispanic, like, I think your parents just expect you to like be married like really early.
Yeah, they exactly. Like my mom shipped me like when I was 22. My mom shipped me off to like Tennessee, back to college, so I can find someone at a private college that I went to, private university that I went to. I'm like, yeah, like what, really? Or she didn't ship me off. She just gave me like option. Hey, do you want to go over here? I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, mijo, I need you to get married
Because at
already.
that time, I didn't know what I want to do with my life.
Yeah.
You know what?
She's like, mijo, I need you to get married already. Like, I need grandkids.
Exactly. And I was barely 22, 23. I'm like, what the fuck am I
Yeah.
doing in Tennessee for? Like, I'm going to go back home. So I went back home after like a semester. And then,
Which it's funny that you say like that age, because when I was younger, I was like 23 is the perfect age to get married.
I said the same thing. I was
like, wow, I was so stupid. What was I
fuck.
thinking? Like, that
I
is not what was
know.
going to happen for me at all.
I should be graduated by college at that time. I should be making some money at that time. And
I would have met somebody in college.
Yeah.
You would have met in one of our classes,
Exactly.
dated. Like, definitely.
in
Yeah.
reality,
Same.
hell no.
No. Oh
I
my
had
gosh.
no idea what the hell I was doing.
What was I thinking? That was a terrible idea.
Exactly.
So yeah, but I do have friends that did that.
That's-
like
yeah,
I
yeah,
have
same,
one
same.
year where I was in 3 weddings because 3 of my friends all got married within the same year and a half, something like that. But we were like 23, 24. And so I remember that. I definitely can remember that time where there was people doing that. And I think that, the great thing about this podcast is that we are going to bring those perspectives to the table. Yeah. Like, we're going to talk to some of my friends who've been married forever and a day with kids. We're going to talk to some of my friends who are single like us, people who are doing the online dating thing. We're going to talk to a couple of your friends. So I think that that's going to be great because I think the traditional way of doing things is not the typical thing. So we're also going to, you have people who live together now and they're not married. And that's
oh yeah.
I think about that and like how that's evolved into another level of relationship. Yep. You want to be with each other, you want to be committed, but you don't necessarily want to be married.
No. Yeah, exactly.
But like they're living together and, moving forward in life. They just don't necessarily have to be married. They don't want
a piece of paper to be...
Yeah, they don't want a piece of paper to define them. Yeah. They don't need it. They're happy the way that it is.
Yeah.
So I think that that's also evolved into another type of relationship that's not the traditional way of doing things too. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I think that there's just lots of different avenues of being with somebody. You don't just have to get married, have a baby, have the cookie cutter life. I think that that's just like what you make of it. Yeah. So, but
I hear you.
But yeah, it's just really different now. So,
and you know what? Like, I feel like my, I'm pickier now than I was when I was in my 20s. You know, like I
there's a lot more that goes on. Yeah. No, and like, so for me, like I would only have what I would consider real relationships 2. Like in my whole life. Yeah. 2 relationships. But like one when I was like younger, like late teens, early 20s, and the other one when I was like I think it was probably mid 20s. Something like that.
Yeah, I'd say I've had one.
So like I've not had like a ton of relationships, but I also know like these 2 were definitely my measuring stick. So I know like very certainly now like what I will and will not accept, I guess, as part of a relationship, just because I've had these experiences before. But it just hasn't been a priority for me. I don't know. It just hasn't been. And like, I just didn't feel like I was in any rush. But I also like, super young in those relationships, was not fully, how do I say this? Matured. I really don't feel like I had been really matured. And so for me, have not felt like I was in the right headspace, to accept somebody in a relationship to be able to enrich their life. Like I had to work on myself a lot. And so I feel now like I'm at a good place where I feel good. Like I have a good job. I'm making some moves. Hopefully I'll be buying a house in the next year. Like I have like a lot of like other things going on that I feel like I can offer somebody
already.
So it's only been within this last year that I've actually,
you kind of feel like,
like I feel like I'm I'm ready to meet somebody now. Like this might be a good time in my life. And, I am getting older. So if I ever do want to have kids, that's going to be something, I obviously
do you want to have
think
kids?
About. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. So, so anyway. Women have a very short window here, so
that is true. I was gonna say like my point of view is completely different.
Yeah.
Like I would say like in my 20s, where like my dating lifestyle was like, hot. I guess you can say.
Yeah.
Like that was the most I've ever felt like lonely.
Interesting.
Like in my 20s, where I was like surrounded by friends constantly, surrounded by girls constantly, and yet like when I would go home and it was just me in my own bed, that's when I felt like the loneliness, like just like the most loneliness. Yeah. But like fast forward to now, like I'm okay. Like I don't know, I had to grow to accept it or something, but like I feel okay, and I prefer to be alone for right now. So
you're not there yet.
I'm not there yet. I don't. I feel like I am. Like sometimes I feel like, I wish I actually did have somebody to like, hey, so guess what kind of shit happened today at work? And I just wanted to kick some dude's ass because they were just you asking for it.
Yeah.
And like, I don't really like.
You don't have that person to
No,
share.
no. And like, I could have said that in our group chat, between me, you, and Raina, but like, it's not the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. You would have
It's
been
different.
like, LOL. She would have been like, haha. Like,
Hey, we have some more depth than that, okay? Give us a little bit more credit.
but like, it is what it is.
Yeah. So I think it just varies. Like, I feel like I'm there right now, like I said. But honestly, if, it had a relationship even before that time, not sure where it would have ended up, obviously, because I've grown like really emotionally, I think. I finally have, I feel like, the maturity and the clarity to kind of see things for what they are, where I had a lot of goggles on when I was younger, willing to overlook certain things that were super red flags, as opposed to just accepting things for what they are. You can't necessarily change things or people. Like, it kind of is what it is, and you got to be on board with what it is. You can't be in love with the potential, quote unquote,
See, and that's like, if a person doesn't want to change,
you can't make them.
You can't make them change.
Yeah.
It's it has to come from within, and if the dude doesn't want to change.
Yeah, but you've also, like, in terms of your own growth, you have grown, like, as a person. Like, you don't live in the valley anymore. Like, you've moved away, you've gotten perspective. You've lived a lot of different places. So I feel like for you as a person, understood that that's not what you wanted. So you had the maturity to get out of a place you didn't necessarily want to be in, and wanted something different from yourself, because you understood that, I don't want to just be with somebody just to be with somebody.
Yeah.
I want to be with somebody to have depth, to enrich my life. So not necessarily just to make babies and be done with it, but to be with someone who enriches your life. And I think that that's like where I'm at too, is because, I was talking to my friend's brother the other day, and he has a kid, and he's much younger than I am. And he's like, oh, don't worry. Like, people will come along, that are worth keeping around. And I was like, I know.
Yeah,
I understand that. I was like, and I don't want it to make it seem like I haven't had opportunities, because I probably could have been married by now and had a kid.
Yep.
At least one or two kids, because I'm, going to be 32. But, I don't know that I would have really been happy if I would have accepted that for what it was and accepted that to be my life.
Yeah.
So it's like I've come to a different point in my life where, yes, I would love that piece to be part of my life. I would love to have a relationship with a caring and loving person and to have children with them. But I also am not just going to take someone who comes along because
that's true.
Because that's
true.
what I would like.
Yeah.
So it's a different ballgame, I feel like, sometimes. But,
It is.
And it's just really funny because my mom, when I was younger, I only have sisters. So, and I'm the oldest of three.
I only have me.
You yourself, and I.
Yeah. I only have me.
But she would, I think she always told us too when we were younger, like, be selfish for as long as you can, because once you get married and have kids, it's not about you anymore.
No.
You are living for other people, and you're trying to, make sure all the dots are connected and everything is good. So you need to make sure that you take care of yourself for as long as you can.
Yeah.
And now, like, nobody, like me or none of my sisters are are married or have kids, and so I find her asking me a little bit more. So what's with this person? Like, she asked me about you too. Like,
Who did?
my mom.
What?
Yeah, she asked me, like, so what's going on with him? How come y'all are talking a lot? I was like, Mom, he's my friend. Like, we can be friends. It's possible. Just leave me alone. It'll happen. I'm like, Mom, it'll happen when it happens. You will get grandkids one day, but I just don't know where that's going to be. So.
All right. Well, like, I mean, I have like my reasons for still wanting to be single. Like, I still have debt that I kind of want to resolve before I
Jump
move
into
on.
something.
Yeah, because like, I feel like my debt will just bring down the my significant other's debt, or just.
You don't want to be burdensome.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the word. Like, I don't want to be a burden to them, and then like, I don't know how much longer I want to stay at my current job.
Okay.
Like, that's.
So you want some stability.
I do,
Yeah.
because like my job hours are very sporadic. Yeah, they're crazy. Like, I can work from home for like 1 week, and then the next week I'll have like 80 hours.
Yeah.
In 6 days. Because that's kind of how like my work goes. It is consistent. We do kind of like follow the school seasons. With the winter breaks and the summer breaks and stuff like that. But during like the fall and the spring, like we're hella busy. Like we
Yeah.
do South by Southwest, and that's like 80 hours for like 2-3 weeks in a row, and like
So you don't have like even you don't even have like consistency to offer.
yeah, exactly,
So-
exactly. And then I did have this like kind of friends with benefit type of thing
Okay.
a few years ago, and then she was telling me that like shit, like I can't even imagine what your future girlfriend is gonna be like, putting up with you with all these hours. 'Cause I know I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And then like, so that kind of got me thinking like, how much longer do I want to stay in this job? Like,
Yeah.
like
Your
a-
schedule's just really sporadic.
It is. And I can be in San Antonio one week, and then the next week I'll be in Dallas. The next week I'll be in Houston. The next week I'll be in Corpus, and all of that in 1 month.
Yeah, and I think like that's fair that you want to be able to offer a little bit more stability and consistency with somebody.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, I also feel like that if you met somebody like tomorrow, if you met somebody tomorrow and you were like, this is it, like she's awesome, I met her, this, and she understands what my rec schedule is, that you would make it work because you're a very loyal person.
Yeah.
I feel like you would figure out a way to do that because then, I have friends who their husbands work, a lot of turnaround work and they're away for a couple of weeks. Me, I grew up with my dad being a truck driver. So I know that was hard for my mom because we were
I can
really
imagine.
young whenever my dad was away, and he'd be gone for like 2 weeks at a time, and he'd be gone for 2 weeks, come back for a day, go back out. And that's just the life that we live.
Yeah.
So I feel like, how they always say, like, there's a will, there's a way. But I do understand too that that's not your ideal situation.
No,
but I
no.
also know that you would make it work if you
Yeah,
found
yeah,
somebody.
and I would, but I would not want to put her in that situation. It's not fair for her.
Yeah.
Like,
But also, if you're upfront about it, like,
yeah, and I would be like the first date. I'd be
Yeah.
like, maybe second date, maybe.
Yeah.
Just like I don't
don't want to scare her away.
No, yeah, exactly.
Don't want to put it all on the table too fast.
Exactly. Like, I
Yeah.
in the beginning, I would tell her that, hey, like, we can make plans for Tuesday night at 7:00, but some things might not change, or some things
Yeah.
might change. Like,
I will do my best to be there.
Yes.
But understand that that's not always going to happen because of my work schedule.
Yep.
All right, Rap. So, while we're on the topic,
Uh-oh.
so what would you say are the 3 most valuable qualities that you would want in a mate?
Friendly. Like, I would like for her to be able to just kind of make friends. Like,
Easy to talk to, get along with people.
Yeah,
that kind
yeah.
of stuff.
And that kind of
Okay.
goes with like, being easygoing, like just, taking it day by day, taking it, just as life comes at you. And then
Sure.
I guess like the other thing that I kind of admire is being able to like make more out of life, not being complacent, wanting to just make more out of whatever they have right now.
Sure.
Because, and I feel like if I can see that in her, it'll push my lazy ass to like want more as well too. Because I kind of do that too, but I'm lazy, so I don't really like try as hard as I should or as I could.
So you want someone who's going to like kick you in the ass and be like, come on, we're doing this. We're going to try this.
Yeah. But
To a
not-
degree, I guess.
Yeah, to a degree.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I don't want her to always be nagging me. Like I want to be able to do that for like myself. Like I see her doing that.
But you also want someone who's motivated,
Yeah,
like a motivated person
Yeah.
who's going to want to do more and all
Yeah.
that great stuff. Okay. Fair.
Yeah. What about you?
So honestly, I feel like someone would have to have like respect.
Okay.
And like just not like respect for me, like as an individual, but also respect for other people. I feel like I am a compassionate person, and so I often will find myself, putting myself in other people's shoes, or how
Yeah.
would this person react if this was happening, or how, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I would want someone who has that same level of like respect and compassion for other people.
Yeah.
Because, though I have been, kind of doing my own thing and living my life, do so with great intention and wanting just to be a better person,
Yeah.
I guess. And so I guess I would want that same level of respect and everything from another person.
Yeah.
Gosh, this is like a hard question.
I know,
It's
right?
a hard question.
Like, it's
so
easy to ask,
definitely,
it's hard to answer.
Yeah, definitely. So like, want someone who's got like level of respect and compassion. Someone also who's got kind of like a can do, not give up attitude.
Yeah.
For almost the same reason you were like, I don't want somebody that's complacent either.
Yeah.
Like, I want us to be constantly chasing something, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and it doesn't have to be anything huge. It can just be something as a, we have a goal of being, I don't know, of buying a house by X amount of time. But, I'm very much a person who believes that, like, goals without timelines and everything are just dreams. Like, if you don't set a timeline, if you don't hold yourself accountable, then it's who is, like, you're not gonna do it, so you have to have like timelines on it and just keep continuing to move forward and chasing things. You have to have an end goal in mind. We are going to have a house in 2 years. So what do we need to do to have a new house in 2 years?
And then drop a plan and then execute it.
So I want someone who's like-minded in that sense, but also I want someone who is going to challenge me in my, thinking. I've been alone with my thoughts for almost 2 years. So
almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I want someone who's got different mindset and who's going to bring something different to my life, but also adding a lot of value. So.
So I see on your snaps that you're kind of into like softball, like you have your own softball.
Yeah, so like play recreational sports, I guess.
Now, is that a quality that you want, like someone who's into sports, or is like?
Yeah, no, like, and that would be awesome because I play recreational sports, and so that is something that I enjoy, and I enjoy spending my time doing that. Would also like someone who likes doing that too, but that's like not as important of a quality as respect.
Softball,
do you know what I mean?
Like, yeah, I get
just
you,
like sports in general, because I mean. My dad.
You're a sports chick.
Yeah, my dad had 3 girls, and so he grew up with all brothers. What was he supposed to do with us?
Yeah.
We all played sports.
Yeah.
We all enjoy sports. Houston being as big as it is, we've got major sports teams.
Yep. You got the Astros, got the Rockets, you got the Texans.
Like we have, and we've got major sports teams that are in our
too,
city.
don't you?
Yeah, the Dynamo.
Yeah, there you go.
So, and then we have women's soccer too. So it's like there's a lot of stuff that's going on in Houston around sports. So yeah, I definitely would like to have someone who enjoys that as well. Again, not as important as the top 3, but just I guess those are smaller qualities that I would want someone want from someone. And if they don't, that to understand that those are things that I enjoy.
Yeah, that you're passionate about.
Yeah, and that they'd be cool with it and not be, you're going to go play again, or, oh, you're going to that game, and you know what I mean?
Yeah. You want someone to show up and be there in the stands and cheer you on,
Yeah, like at least if they don't want to play, that's cool, but come and hang out with us and be okay with, my teammates and all of that stuff. Those are just things that
that's cool.
I've enjoyed in the past, and so.
That's cool. So would you say that you're already at that point where you can 100% commit to
Yeah,
somebody?
like I feel like I'm ready to do that. Like, and I have not felt like that until about the last year.
In a while?
No, like ever, honestly,
okay.
ever, because I was not the person even 5 years ago that I am today. And like really and honestly, it's only been within the last year where I feel like I have the maturity to handle relationship. Like I have a great, like compassion and understanding. Like I feel like when you're younger, there's a lot of jealousy for unknown reasons, just because you're like young, know.
Yeah, exactly.
From both sides, like.
What the fuck is she talking to that guy? Who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Nothing. Just keep on
like
going.
just like, and so I've not had those kinds of feelings. Like I feel like things now, like I'm a much calmer person, a much more chill person. Yeah, and I just like, because I guess I don't ever want to be like a source of like chaos for somebody. Like I want to be with somebody, and not just like in an intimate way, like friendship wise too. Don't ever want to be like, I don't want to be the unstable thing or person or whatever. Like, and so like I said, I had to work like on myself to like gain those traits about myself that I would want like in another person. And so for that reason, that's why I'm saying like, I don't feel like I really got there until about the last year or so. So, yeah.
I get you. That's cool.
But, yeah, it's just different. Like, I hear all the time, like, I have an uncle who, like, you were talking about your mom wanting you to, like, get together already. Like, nobody in my immediate family is married. Like my cousins, I am
Really?
the oldest one of on both sides, and like none of
Yeah.
us are married. And so yeah, it's just
Really?
really funny because on my dad's side there's no babies. Like the youngest one is like my youngest cousin, and I think he's like, how old is my sister? 21. I think he's 20 and he's the youngest one. So one of my uncles is always like, we need some kids around here. Like, when are y'all gonna like, give me some grandbabies? And I'm like, Uncle Gil, like you would much rather us be in loving and caring
Uncle Gil.
relationships than to be with somebody who's just gonna make a baby with us and then leave. Like, you would much rather us have an enriching relationship, wouldn't you? And I always like tell him that, and he's like, yeah, because he's already to the point where he just like wants babies again. Like, I mean, we haven't had babies in a long time. We're all adults, but there's also a fun thing about having adult cousins. Because adult cousins and your parents and everybody can go out and like drink and like have a good time. And that's been something that we've done here a few times. And it's been a lot of fun, actually. A lot more fun than I thought it would have been like when I was younger. So anyway, it's just there were different relationships as we've gotten older. But yeah, it's definitely different. I think like Hispanic like families just definitely operate in a different way than other families do.
No, totally. They really fucking do, and it's kind of annoying sometimes. 'Cause every time I talk to my mom, she's like, "Mijito, so have you found somebody?" Let me call her back. "Mijito, have you found somebody? Have you found somebody?"
Didn't you
Like
say she
every
was,
single
like-
time, almost every single phone call.
She's like trying to hook you up with like
And,
somebody.
like, she's trying to hook me
Well,
up
multiple,
with.
rather.
So she had this masseuse that she became a regular client to, and that masseuse was just. She mentioned to my mom that, I have a 23-year-old daughter that lives in
23?
San Antonio too. Maybe that they should get together, your son and my daughter. Was it a daughter or a niece? I can't remember what it was, who she was. And I was thinking, my mom told me that. I'm like,
What are you talking about?
Like-
She's 23 years old.
exactly. Like,
Would you
that's-
date somebody that
is-
young
no,
though?
my mom,
23.
I can hang out with somebody that young.
But not
Definitely
like an
not,
actual
like-
relationship.
Hell no, that's too fucking young.
You think
Hell
so?
no.
Interesting.
No, and then like, I can't relate to you with your cousins because I'm like in the middle. Either my cousins are all like 40 or 50, or they're all like baby and
12.
still in their under 20. Yeah, and
Okay.
it's
That's interesting.
yeah, and then plus I'm not even close to my family anyway,
Yeah.
so it is what it is.
Yeah. And then you're an only child too, so that's another interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, and I don't know. Like I've talked about it with some other like guy friends, and we're all like, they were about the same age, and
Yeah.
like we've just grown up to be pickier, and it's like
It happens as you get older.
it happens.
Yeah.
It does.
So I guess you have like the flip sides of it, right? Like, do you like either with somebody when you're younger to like grow with them, right? Or you wait till you like done your growing and then go find somebody. Because honestly,
See, I think
how many weddings have you been to in the last 4 years?
2. An old student of mine invited me to his wedding a couple years back, and then a couple months ago, an old childhood friend invited me to his wedding. So 2.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, I have not been to like any.
Oh,
The bulk of the weddings that I have been to, like for my friends, were right after college.
I get you.
Ton of them. Like so many people got married like right after college. I have not been to any later
I
than
see.
that. So, yeah. And so it just depends. Like, I don't know. We'll see. There's just like so many ways to make
Yeah.
connections
Yeah,
these days. Like
definitely.
you were talking about the apps and all these websites.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just really interesting because I think it also in a way can cripple people in the way that they make connections with each other
Yeah.
because they're doing it through a screen, right?
Yeah, that's
So
true.
I think that, we talk about us, like we didn't grow up with technology. It came to
No.
be a player in about what?
Later on in life.
Yeah, like 5th or 6th grade, something
Teenager.
like that, where I can
Okay,
actually
yeah, yeah.
remember like a computer, working on one at school. So, I mean, I think that we are stuck in between we want the old school, like kind of love,
Definitely.
you meet somebody out, you see
Yeah.
them, you go up to them, you talk to them, you ask for their
Exactly.
number, then you start
Yeah.
dating.
Yep.
You know, I think we kind of want that, but that's also not the reality anymore.
No.
We have these other things that have become major players in the dating world too. So,
Yep.
yeah, it's just interesting. It's interesting being a 30-something single.
It is. You know, we're living in a different time than how it was like 10, 15 years ago. And I'm just saying that right now just makes me feel like I'm fucking old, but I'm only 33. But, you know, another thing too, as I've grown older, I realize that I'm pickier now than what I used to be.
Sure.
And I've also realized that I don't think I'm in a mentally, I don't think I'm in a place where I can settle down right now because I still don't know what what I want in life. I still don't know what I want to do. I just feel like if I meet a girl and I present her with all my insecurities right now, I just feel like I'm putting more burden on her, and
Sure.
I don't think it's fair for her right now to like have to deal with that. I don't that just could be me. You know, I could just be looking at like I just could be feeling that I just want to be 100% ready before I meet a girl,
Sure.
and I know that I shouldn't be thinking about that because I know that life doesn't really work that way. I don't know. It just could be me. It could just be that I just don't know what I want, what I'm looking for right now, and that's what's just you know, yeah. I just don't know. I'm still
Well, and
trying
you want to be sure of what you want too.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you don't want to. Yeah, you don't want to like also, be in an intense relationship with a girl with you not even knowing, do I even want to get married?
Yeah,
Like I feel
exactly.
like that. Like period, not to her, just period.
Yeah, now I still don't know
know?
if I want that or
So,
not because I don't know where I'm at.
It's just really interesting. There's so many like factors into the game of dating these days. So, but I'm excited for us to go through them, talk about our experiences, for people to know us a little bit better, like just to know like who we are and like why we're doing it and all of that stuff. So I'm just super excited to like go through all of those things on this podcast. Just because, there's an interesting dating world, relationships too, like just friendships are interesting these days. Like once you pass a certain age and you do have other things that are in the mix and it's not as easy to meet up with people now, how does social media play in all of this? Like there's just so many things that, we can go through, we are going to go through. And so we just hope that people are along with the ride with us. What do you think?
When we were in pre-production trying to come up with a topic to talk about for each episode, it kind of made me realize that, once you turn 30, once you're in your 30s, it's just a whole different ballgame. It's just a whole bunch of new bullshit that we got to deal with that I don't think we thought about when we were in our 20s. Our parents had to deal with it. Our grandparents had to deal with it, and I'm sure that what they went through is kind of similar to what we're going through now. It's just the environment changes a little bit. We have technology, like I say, or like you said, we have, apps and websites nowadays that we can meet people. It's just different. And I know that when I was in my 20s, I had like no idea what to expect when I turned 30. I just know that I wasn't looking forward to it, but here we are now, and it's not just relationships that we have to deal with now. It's family, it's careers, it's friendships, and it's just a new set of priorities now that we have in our 30s compared to when we were in our 20s. And Tam and I, we're sure that we're not the only ones that feel this way. We hope that you can relate.
Yeah. And we want them to interact with us, all of you guys. So if you want to shoot us an email, contact@blahblahmarryme.com. Or you can get us on our social media channels, Instagram and Facebook, Blah Blah Marry Me or Blah Blah Marry Me Podcast. And so, yeah, we want this to be interactive, a roundtable discussion, if you will, just to kind of listen to everybody, because like we said, we cannot be the only people that are feeling like this, and they go through these things and have like crazy dating stories. And, what do you think? Do you think guys and girls can be friends with each other? Like, so many things for us to talk about. And so we definitely want this to be an interactive thing. And for you guys just to stick along with us on the ride, because I think it's going to be a good one. Hey, so Rap, what are we talking about next episode?
Next episode, let's see. So we're going to be talking about commitment without commitments.
What does that mean?
So we're going to be talking about friends that have certain benefits.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not like
Okay.
healthcare benefits and shit,
Yeah, I got it.
Okay,
I got
okay.
it.
just
Making sure we're following along.
Yeah,
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. And then also, you or your buddy came up with like a term called situationships.
He did. Yeah, situationships, definitely a term that I'm seeing getting thrown around a lot more now.
I just saw it on Urban Dictionary a couple weeks ago. Like, what?
Definitely did not know what that was a few years ago, but definitely have a story there. So so we'll be talking about all that stuff the next episode. What's the other one? There was
Another one? Oh, hanging out.
We're just hanging out. What does that even
Exactly.
mean?
Yeah, hanging out. Yeah, definitely hanging out.
Yeah, it's another one that gets thrown around that's also very confusing for me, but anyway.
Hanging out. Yeah. Whatever.
So anyway, we'll be talking about all of those in the next episode. Like I said, shoot us an email, contact@blahblahmarryme.com, or get us on our social media, Instagram or Facebook, blah blah marry me or blah blah marry me podcast. Thanks for sticking around for our first episode, and I hope we see you next time.
And also, in the wise words of Tam, don't be a little bitch.
Ah, yes, the age-old motto of my life, I guess, and that's just
Don't be a little bitch.
don't be a little
You know,
bitch. Yeah, well, because you remember the first time I told you that, like,
I remember.
yeah, and I
But
was
you know
like-
what? That stuck with me.
It
That
does.
stuck with me.
It's like, don't be a little bitch. And what I mean is by that is for myself, like if something is tough and I'm trying to be like telling myself, don't be a little bitch. Like, buck up, like handle your shit and move on. Like, don't be a little bitch. I often tell that to other people, like Rap. I remember the first time I told him that, and he was like, wow, that's kind of harsh. And I was like, no, man,
I don't even
don't be a
remember
little
what we were
bitch.
talking
I don't
about,
remember what it was
yeah.
either. But I remember telling you,
whatever.
don't be a little bitch, because you were probably super
It
emotional
stuck
about
with me.
something. I don't know. And I was just like, don't be a little bitch
That's
about
probably
it.
why I went through the alcohol cleanse.
Oh, dang, my bad. I didn't mean to drive you to drink, but I just meant like,
No. It wasn't that.
don't be
No,
a little
no.
bitch. Like, deal with your shit, man up, or whatever you want to call it, woman up, and just handle your shit. Like, other people, like, things happen. You can't change them. The only thing that you can control sometimes is how you feel about certain situations. So
Exactly.
don't be a little bitch. Just go through life and just tell other people, just don't be a little bitch about things sometimes, man. You just can't. Yeah, you just can't. You got to just roll with the punches sometimes. So that's probably going to be a phrase that you hear with us pretty often, because
Oh yeah. Yeah.
we often
Always. Always hear that.
tell people that and ourselves. So, yep. So, yeah.
All right.
Had a good one. I hope to see you next time.
Later, guys.
I'm in love with you.
You love me? Yeah.
I'm in love with you.
You love me? Yeah.
All right. So, fuck. How do we do this again?
Go. You go first.
Oh yeah. Hold on. Let me get. Like, I don't
You
think.
got to get situated.
I do gotta get situated. I don't think I'm.
Okay. Bleh, reset. Okay, go.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Raul.
Damn it, we went over this, okay?
God damn it.
Oh.
What's my? got like 5 names, okay? I was on it.
You were committed to it too.
Oh my god, man.
Okay.
Oh.
All right, let's try again. Try again.